Anyways, that was just a little Christmas tribute for you. But this past week at Young Adults, we started our third Heartburn series, which is Christ in Me, Hope of Glory. And it's perfect timing because we're coming up to Christmas season, which is celebrating Jesus' birth, God's Son sent to earth. And I'm hoping that you had a chance to get a Christmas tree. I got mine. I thought it was going to be 6 feet tall. It only ended up being 3. So word to the wise is if you just pop it up on something, put it in front of the window from the outside, no one's going to know your tree is only 3 feet tall. Anyways, quick recap from last week is we talked about Christ in me. And it's really interesting is that there's nothing on God's side that prevents us from entering into his presence. And it's interesting because in the Old Testament they talk about a tabernacle, a place where God's presence dwelt. And it was only through certain sacrifices and routines and rituals that people could enter into his presence. Now, a defining part of this tabernacle was that there was a veil that separated the holy place to the most holy place, and very, very few people could pass through this. Now, keep that in mind, Exodus 26. Now fast forward to the New Testament when God sends his son, Jesus. And we see in Matthew 27:51 is that when Jesus died, he's the perfect sacrifice for us, so that we have complete access to God at all times, that we can have complete access to his presence. And what's cool is that in Matthew 27:51, it says, "At the moment the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom, the earth shook and the rocks split." Is that through Jesus, he actually tore the temple curtain. And he's like, whoa, guys, you have complete access to my presence through Jesus Christ. So then what keeps us from entering to his presence? It's sin in our lives. Actually, sin creates these veils over our hearts that prevents us from entering into God's presence. What do we do about it? Is that with these self-veils, these self-sins, these veils over our hearts, is that we actually can go to Jesus and ask for forgiveness. Is it self-pride, self-sufficiency, self-reliance, self-pity, these things that block us? We go to him, we ask for forgiveness, and Jesus is awesome, is that he just rips through that veil and his presence comes flooding into our lives in a fresh and a new way. Remember that there's nothing on God's side that prevents us from entering into his presence. So I encourage you is to ask for forgiveness this week. Go to God with things that you sense are blocking his presence. Awesome. This week at Young Adults Wednesday night, we're going to be talking about hope of glory, that it's through Christ in us that we have this hope of glory to share with others. And we're going to be talking about how you can be yourself and impact others. So read more in the note above, and we'll see you on Wednesday night. Merry Christmas!